all you horror and thriller lovers out there, I got a wild recommendation for you right now. This movie is called It Follows. And you know what makes this feel very unique in one of those late night movies that you just gotta watch? It feels like one long nightmare that you can't wake up from. So before I go into the details, let's roll that intro to my new series. You ever throw on a random movie late at night expecting nothing? The type of film you almost ignored because nobody was talking about it, but when you watched it, it ended up shattering your expectations and you wish you had somebody to talk to about it? That's what this series is about. Welcome to 1 a.m. Movie Club. Alright, so like I said, I got this late night movie recommendation for you. And everything about this movie, It Follows, feels kind of slightly off in a way that honestly is kind of hard to explain at first. See, like the neighborhoods are empty, the streets feel weirdly quiet, and even the time period feels a little confusing. Like you got one character watching an old black and white movie while the other character is reading on some shell-shaped e-reader thing that doesn't even look real. Like nothing about this movie feels grounded, but it's enticing. And I think that the whole feel was intentional. I'm sure it was. It was intentional. Now, this movie puts you in the same paranoid state as the main character, Jay. Once the curse gets passed to her, the world no longer feels normal to her, or you as the audience. Like, every stranger becomes a threat. Every person walking towards you suddenly, becomes a little bit of, I would say it contributes to your paranoia, to say the least. And that's why this movie hits the hardest late at night. Because after you watch it, you start doing exactly what she does, looking out your window, peeping. You know, if you catch somebody walking in your direction a little too stoic or a little bit too straight face, it's kind of like, wait, is this person walking towards me? Now, I'm a sober individual. You know, I would say straight edge, actually. I've never been into smoking or drinking, no judgment, but that was just me. But I can imagine if you are high or on something while watching this movie, it's going to intensify that much. So do it with caution. Now, here's the genius part about how slow this entity moves. You could say the entity because it's not like a physical villain. It's not a serial killer, nothing like that. It's some kind of spiritual demonic entity, I would say, that follows you. So here's my take. Most horror movies, I feel like they rely on like the speed and chaos of the killer, or like the wild entities or jump scares, that kind of thing. This one does the opposite. The entity walks slowly, which somehow makes it worse because that anticipation kills you. It's like watching your fate approach you very slowly to where it just, I don't know, builds up that anxiety and makes you go crazy. Now, that entity never stops, and eventually it will reach you, right? So this kind of creates this constant background paranoia throughout the whole movie. And the scenes this movie chooses to focus on are really unsettling because it feels weirdly realistic. Like when Jay's sitting in the classroom staring out the window, and suddenly that old woman starts walking slowly towards the school. I'm not going to spoil the movie, but I'm not sure if you can see that part in the trailer. I don't know. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'll just say that scene isn't loud. It's not doing too much. It's not super explosive, but your stomach drops because you notice her walking towards you, and you see it before. Well, not before the main character, when you see it, it just makes your stomach drop. Like it's that terrifying. or that tall man scene. I don't want to tell you too much about the next scenes coming up. Just know that they don't rely on too much of a crazy build-up or crazy editing. The movie is what it is because the concept is really cool, really enticing, really thrilling, I'll say that. Also, it feels very independent. I like that. I feel like those indie movies that have a good concept, it almost sometimes pays off that they can't afford the highest of high cameras. Sometimes it pays off that it has like that grainy, low budget look. It just feels really good for one of those late night feel good movies. Well, I can't say feel good, but those late night thrilling movies that I'm talking about. This movie has that. It looks like they shot it with like an expensive Canon or something, but like not movie quality that you would always expect, but it works. I mean that sincerely. It really works. So sometimes you got to cut the budget on purpose. I'll say that. So look, this movie nails that feeling of being young and unsafe in the suburbs. And what's better than that, right? Why do you think a lot of these movies take place in the suburbs? It's because they want to make you feel unsafe in the place that's supposed to be safe. It creates that contrast. You know, sometimes I think a lot of these scary movies stay out the city because it just kind of kills the vibe. Not saying it can't be done, but there'll be a lot of witnesses and there's a lot of people you could go to for help, and you kind of expect danger in a big city. But when you're in the suburbs, now playing a different game. And this movie captured that suburban feel really well. I also noticed that a lot of the shots were very simple. And I could tell that it was intentional. It wasn't done like in a, oh, well, this is the budget, so take what you take. No, it was done in an artistic kind of way where the camera might be in one take and it might pan left, pan right, pan left. And every time it pans, something different happens. But I don't mean like a quick pan. I mean that slow, natural pan. So shout out to the director and the DP for that one, because I thought they did really good. Anyway, this movie just captured that feeling of like, you know, like friends driving around, nowhere to go, sleeping at each other's houses because no one feels safe alone. It captures that weird feeling of teenage freedom mixed with pure vulnerability. And that's why It Follows works so well as a late night watch. Not because it constantly screams at you, but because it quietly gets under your skin, and that silence starts to eventually feel very dangerous. So the key word is paranoia. Now, quick question. Should you watch this by yourself, with your significant other, with the family, or with some friends? I'll say this much. Watching it by yourself, it'll be fun, get you some snacks. You could do that. You could definitely watch it by yourself. I wouldn't watch it with the family though. There's a lot of sex or implications and stuff. Not a whole bunch, but yeah, it goes there. So definitely not with the family. With some friends, definitely. Because it's not one of those movies. I mean, no movie deserves distraction. So don't ever like go into any movie distracted. But I will say, it's got that popcorn feel. You can laugh here and there. You can make a comment here and there, and it won't distract from the whole plot. But don't distract yourself. Pay attention. And finally, so we covered by yourself. We said family, friends. And should you watch it with your significant other? 100,000,000%. Watch it with your significant other. I think this would be the perfect late night movie. Not a date night movie, but a late night movie. You know, watch it before you get busy, if you know what I mean. Or watch it just real late at night. With that being said, get you a snack, relax, and I want to open up the discourse, because that's the point of this series, let alone the whole channel. I want to open up more discourse about movies in general, and not just the Oscar-worthy stuff. Those are always great. But I want to talk about the overlooked movies, you know, the ones that are not flawless but offer a great time, those thrillers. Let's open it up. Did you enjoy this movie? Have you heard of this movie? Is this a movie you would watch? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. Let's open it up. I'll respond as much as I can because I want to get involved. Think of this like I said, like a book club, but the movie club. We could do it right here on YouTube, online from wherever you are on this planet. Thank you for tuning in, and I will be back next week with another, you could say, I don't want to disrespect these movies and say like overlooked movies, but I'll be back next week to talk about something for that 1 a.m. section. That 1 a.m. late night, good thrilling watch. Now, if the movie's just straight up trash, don't expect it on here. Anything I put up here, while it might not be an Oscar winning movie, it's gotta earn its way to being recommended for any particular reason. But we're going to cover thrillers, horror, and I'm really excited to do this. This is actually the most fun I've had on YouTube probably ever. So let's get into it. Did you see this movie, It Follows?